So I don't have a visual. Yesterday, Victoria Police attempted to, or threatened to, domestic traffic me because of a group of people that have been lying in the magistrate's court and lying in a group that they just provide witnesses against people whenever they go to Rosedale Caravan Park. And so they've actively grouped together to have Victoria Police threaten to domestic traffic me if I go to the toilet, if I have a shower, or if I use the laundry at Rosedale Caravan Park. So every time I went over to have a poo, they would set up to destroy a piece of my caravan or a piece of my property, cutting my underwear. So these people have been psychosexually abusing me since April the 10th, 2026. And the Magistrates Court in Sale supports that sexual abuse, and Victoria Police supports that sexual abuse instead of assisting me to get the protection orders that I needed. And those people who have been doing the psychosexual abuse against me have been doing that against a boy. There's at least, I think 6 people that are involved in that psychosexual abuse. And that sexual abuse is being done as a projection out because I interrupted a female abusing a child at Rosedale Caravan Park in the female toilets. I can't say names, but these are absolute facts that have been being done by these people. And there's a whole group of them. I've named all of them. I've given the police all of the information. I've written to the department, and still they have not assisted me to participate in the court for protection orders, but they've destroyed my reputation by having a group of drug addicts and child abusers who are psychosexually abusing me openly to stop me from having a poo, stop me from using the toilets, for example, stopping me from having a shower, and stopping me from using the laundry, because if I ever go over there, they destroy some of the property, or they'll step over to those places and be there knowing that I was doing things, or they will stand near the property and deliberately say that I've been harassing them in some way, even though it's them coming near me and I didn't even talk to them. So Victoria Police are complicit with psychosexual abuse and psychosexual abuse of children, this child in particular, and they're supporting and threatening domestic trafficking. They've threatened domestic trafficking under false name and false date of birth details. They've also there's going to be a case on the 1st of October in the magistrate's court that they've threatened me that if I don't participate, they will domestic traffic me. This is a criminal code section 2715, I think it is, 1 and 2, all aspects. These are federal crimes. So Victoria Police in 2020, so this is a third incident, Victoria Police in 2020 domestic trafficked me to Footscray Hospital. They did this by Ambulance Victoria inflicting a forced medical procedure on me and causing agitation and causing PTSD in me, and the hospital then abused me and vindictively sent me to Mercy by domestic trafficking. They forced medical procedured me in Mercy for 3 days, and it was a non-English speaking non-white assessed me and couldn't understand what I was saying and made up some stuff. And on the third day, on Monday, the Mercy Hospital should have already released me within 24 hours. And instead, because they assessed me based on the stuff they had forced medical procedured me with at the start, with Ambulance Victoria doing that, they assessed that as a psychological issue, like a psychiatric issue, which it wasn't. It was a drug-induced problem that they made happen by forced medical procedure by lethal weapon. And so that was in 2021, towards the end of 2021 to 2022. Mercy was supposed to let me go on the Monday because they said we made a mistake. We don't know what happened with that drug. It wasn't supposed to happen, blah, blah, blah. I said, good, you can let me go now. And they said, that's not how it works. So they kept me there for 4 weeks in a room in one building. They moved me around to different buildings, and then they settled on one for the rest of the time. And the entire time they were basically pretending that I was there voluntary when I had already said, great, you can let me go now. And they said, that's not how it works. So they kept me there for 4 weeks for no reason. And they assessed me with CPTSD whilst their Christian minister was playing with himself, adjusting his rude body part in front of me. And because they had all the drugs involved, I was too scared to tell anybody because they would say I was having delusions. So I was too scared to talk. And a senior staff member, was coming into my room at Mercy Hospital and hugging me. And I was too scared to tell anyone because they would have told me that I was having delusions. And this is what Victoria Police is involved in, domestic trafficking people into situations where we get abused and victimised by the very hospitals that are supposed to be there and purport to be there for our health and well-being. And I don't suffer from delusions. I've never suffered from any delusions. I do not suffer from paranoia. These are real-life facts of things that have been done. So these observations that I've been making over time are going to the High Court. I've reported this threat to domestic traffic me to Australian Federal Police last night. They turned up at approximately 2100 yesterday night, and I haven't slept because the courts have failed a child, and they failed me all my life. And instead of assisting me to get a protection order against people who are psychosexually abusing me out in the open between each other, the owners and managers of Rosedale Caravan Park and at least 6 other, more than 6, named individuals that I have named to Victoria Police, all got together, and there was supposed to be a court mention, and instead it was a full order made against a false name, false detail, and then served on, attempted to serve onto me in a threat of domestic trafficking if I infringe this order. But that person they've named doesn't exist, and I said to them, that's not my name, it's not my date of birth. If it doesn't say my full name, my proper name, and my proper date of birth, it isn't me. You can domestic traffic me to the court, but when they get there, that's not me. It doesn't exist. You've been supporting people psychosexually abusing a child. That's somebody under 18. And they've been psychosexually abusing me since the 10th of April when I interrupted that pattern. And Victoria Police, there's nothing you can do about this video. You can use it in the court, and I haven't named anyone, so it's not breaching anything. Also, my name and birth date are not on the order that you left outside on the floor, on the ground last night when I closed the door because you didn't listen to me, that's not my name and not my birth date. I can prove that. You have no right to participate in domestic trafficking of subjects of the Australian Imperial Crown that are trying to tell you the facts about what happened and saying that they're not intimidating me and victimizing me like that, and systems abusing me, not letting me go to the court, not assisting, threatening to traffic me, domestic trafficking. It's unbelievable, but we can understand that that's what you do to our people. You've been doing it for a long time. You domestic trafficked me on the 10th of December 2021. And you domestic trafficked me at the Shrine of Remembrance on the 11th of the 11th, 2024. You trafficked me for trying to report to someone. I was attempting to report the crime of apartheid that an Aboriginal was doing against our people upon our holy Shrine of Remembrance. And you trafficked me, Reece Smith, that's his name. Reece Smith, I was reporting the crime of apartheid upon that Shrine of Remembrance on our holy ground, our holy Christian, Protestant Christian holy ground. And you arrested me. You domestic trafficked me for reporting apartheid to you. a federal criminal offence committed by an Aboriginal man on our holy shrine of remembrance, and an Indian woman committed apartheid, genocided my people on the shrine of remembrance on the 11th of the 11th, 2024. And the Premier stood on that shrine of remembrance, steps of our holy ground, our holy Protestant ground, at the shrine of remembrance, and committed apartheid. And Reece Smith arrested me and domestic trafficked me for trying to report to him this crime of apartheid being done by an Aboriginal, an Indian, and a Premier of Victoria on our holy shrine of remembrance. So it's fitting that you've genocided me from my teaching in 2021. It's fitting that you arrested me and domestic trafficked me for trying to report apartheid being done on our shrine of remembrance against us, genociding our history, genocide according to the United Nations Convention for the Prevention and Punishment of the Crime of Genocide, Articles 2 to 4. And it is also fitting that you support psychosexual abuse by many numbers of people upon one female in a caravan park, where those same people abuse the elders here. They abuse anyone who dares to speak up to them. They criminally damage items and then say, I didn't do it, it wasn't me. And it was them. You know it was them. And yet you threaten to domestic traffic the very individual that has been telling you since the 10th of April. And on the 21st of May and the 22nd of May, when the second incident, not the first, the second incident of where I witnessed child abuse in the female toilets in Rosedale Caravan Park, your policeman, Mick Clapton, growled over me and let Kerry Logan, one of the owners of Rosedale Caravan Park, talk over me, and you victimised me. And that's not defamation. Those are the facts. You stole my garden things and gave them to a drug dealer because some woman was yelling over me. And you let that happen, Victoria Police. This is disgusting. And these people, all involved in child abuse, child psychosexual abuse. And the reason they're doing it to me is because of projection. This is psychological in nature. Okay? And you've allowed me to have to shit in a bucket with a bag and put it in the bin. And the men who do that are carting shit because the magistrate's court agrees with child sexual grooming, child sexual abuse, and abuse of women, innocent women who come into the caravan park. Because a group of drug dealers went into the court and lied under false name and got Victoria Police to threaten domestic trafficking. It's really disgusting. And this Kerry Logan's a primary school or high school teacher teaching nutrition under false nutrition advice. So she's been poisoning all of those students. And you dare to name me as doing whatever these criminals are naming. No, I haven't named those people. Not covered by orders, are they? Not all of them. I could name all of them, except for the two under the two orders, just in case you come along and domestic traffic me against the Criminal Code Act 1995 Commonwealth, Section 271.5, both 1 and 2 in the totality. So I feel really scared, intimidated, systems abused by a tort, a deliberate infliction of mental distress by the magistrate's court, who refused to give the order that I asked for and opened me up to being further abused by these individuals that are psychosexually abusing me. And now they're just doing it in the courtroom, psychosexually abusing me. There's nothing I can do when I don't even, like, these people demand that I don't leave my caravan, that I don't go to have a shit, that I don't have a shower, that I don't wash my clothes. So I have to tip my urine onto the ground and baggage up my shit into bags and put them in the bin. And the men who inflict this abuse, this psychosexual abuse on me, have to cart my shit. It's pretty disgusting, isn't it? So, over threats to domestic trafficking me at some point, if I should not obey these child abusing criminals that have stabbed tyres, and I've stabbed 4 tyres on a sedan, 1 tyre on a caravan, cut 5 tops, undertops, and 2 underpants that were on my own clothes horse just outside the door of caravan, that have disabled me from being able to travel anywhere, disabled me from going to the courts if I need to, disabled me from going anywhere or doing anything. I can't even buy my own water. I'll have to try and get it delivered. And then when I went on the neighbourhood bus, Rich, the guy who is supposed to be the neighbourhood guy, gaslit me and said, "Oh gee, that's not like Lee to threaten you physically, is it? He's such a nice guy." Well, thanks for the gaslighting. Now I won't be going on your bus. And that's supposed to be there to help people like me. Lee has a car, and nobody stabbed his tyres because he was too busy psychosexually abusing me amongst the whole group of them. Along with Richard Burke. Richard Burke, who stands outside saying things about pedophile outside my caravan with the 2 individuals that I'm not allowed to really talk about or talk to, just in case you decide to domestic traffic me. And so we've got this situation where you facilitated psychosexual abuse against me, and now you've threatened to domestic traffic me if I go and have a shit or a wee or a shower or wash my clothes. So I have to now do that in the winter outside, on the ground, in a bucket, and only do a couple items here or there, because it's physically impossible when I have to bring the clothes into the caravan to drip dry from hand washed. That's torture, isn't it, Victoria Police, that you've inflicted upon me? Those are criminal acts as well. So these people are committing criminal acts. And so the direct line authority is the Victorian Police Commissioner. The direct line authority to this trafficking threat of domestic trafficking and this torture being done over me, inflicting on my health and well-being, those are federal Commonwealth crimes. They're federal Commonwealth crimes. Even if it was just about my own name, the threats to domestic trafficking. And I spent nearly 4 hours trying to get you to listen, any of you, to listen to the reality of what you're doing. So now I'll publish this video audio and let the public hear what's going on at Rosedale Caravan Park that's been going on for quite a long time now. And the entire Rosedale town know about it and regret this goings on that goes on in their town. They really want people to have a good experience in Rosedale, Victoria. And every time someone comes in to enjoy the Rosedale Caravan Park, they get abused by child abusers and drug dealers that are also participating in child abuse. Child psychosexual abuse, to be very specific. And then they use all the people around them to commit these crimes of perjury in the courtrooms and things. They're very well practiced at it. That's why they're so good at it. That's why they've got so many witnesses that say they saw things that didn't occur. I'll give you one example. One of those two individuals videoed me standing at my car, which is on a site that I paid for, and she approached that and then started videoing me and screaming at me that I was breaching some order. The order never came under my name, and it was never under my date of birth either. It was under fake details. And that was under threat of being trafficked. And it's now an official threat of being domestic trafficked. That's a crime, criminal, a federal crime. So that's been reported to the AFP because Victoria Police committing a crime is not appropriate, and threatening to commit a crime is a crime in itself. And so those are things that have to go into the High Court. And it's really tiring. I've been asking you for protection and assistance for many months now. And you've completely isolated me. And now, we can't give cross protection orders. Well, you were supposed to assist me to get a protection order in the first place, because I'm the one who reported the crimes. So these people are so determined to commit crimes. They're allowing, like the police, when I said I'm just going to put my caravan into storage and go and sleep on the street, and later I said I don't know what I'm going to do, they said put it in storage. So it's okay to go and sleep on the street. Well, that's okay. I can do that too. Who cares? Because you don't. Too busy importing non-whites to white erase us, to genocide us, and too busy standing up for the many drug dealers who have done this tyre stabbing to various elders in the caravan park at Rosedale, many occasions. And yes, it's frustrating. What's worse is that you're participating in this systems abuse, and by extension, the psychosexual abuse of a child and of me by projection. Because a whole bunch of these drug dealers said they saw me do something to a child. It didn't happen. So, their child travels around with no helmet on a bike and no shoes on a bike and is very clearly malnourished, and so is the mother. Extremely clearly malnourished. You only have to look on a few of the carnivore and low carb, high fat doctors who know about that nutritional fact, and you can see exactly what's been going on with the two couples, one I've mentioned and one I can't say the names. And I can, because the orders aren't in my name. They don't cover me. You think they do, but they don't. You just committed a threat to domestic traffic. And you've supported psychosexual abuse against me, which is a projection by the people who were doing it to a child, an under 18 child. Okay? So, and these people are going near other people who have children and telling them that I'm a child abuser. And then those people will go and say, yeah, that was pretty bad. And then they go and testify in a courtroom, for example. And so some of those crimes are 1958, Crimes Act 1958, Victoria, perjury, in those papers. And because of there's a different paper that I've got, I know exactly who passed the information on, and it was someone that I asked Mr. Gwynn to assist with a protection order over, and he didn't do the full protection order, and so they committed what was in the original request. They committed that, communicating and passing on false information. And so the very specific information, the registrar set it up their own way. I didn't write what this registrar wrote, so the information was not identifiable to me. And this person, whose name is Lee, is directly involved in the child's psychosexual abuse. Directly involved. That's the person who passed the information on. Okay? So that information was given to him by a registrar of the Magistrates Court. It was supposed to protect me, and instead it's now threatened me with domestic trafficking and led to further abuse of a child as well, and to further abuse of me, because I can't go for a shit, and I can't go for a shower, and I can't go and wash my clothes. I've got to do a couple items here and there in a bucket out in the cold weather with a spinal injury. So I don't know, until I have money to put the caravan into storage. I've asked the ministers and different things to collaborate and assist, but because I've asked them, if you can't be bothered, then just use the Voluntary Assisted Dying Act. I think it's 2017. I don't know, I get it mixed up every time. It's 2017, I think. and just use it and let me go, instead of keeping me alive and having me go through this time and again. Every time you point someone out or do something that they get envious of, they bring out child abuse, child abuse, child abuse. That's what they do. They did it in all the schools. They're fucking disgusting animals. They're so wired to look at pedophilia that they create it in their own mind around people who are just not like them. And this is no exception. Okay, I interrupted a pattern of child abuse on the 10th of April, and this couple has been after me since. And there's nothing I can do. Okay, I'm trying to arrange places to go and to move things, but now I have to pay for 5 tires. 5 tires. Because once they're stabbed with a knife like that, you can't plug the hole and keep using the tire at all. And so you've got Phil Logan, the other owner. He's dying of diabetes because his wife poisons him with sugar. And that's open public knowledge, by the way. Keeps asking keeps saying, I want you to take off one of those tires and let us see if we can fix it, put a fucking tube in there or something. And I'm just here to say, Phil, you're not touching the car. You are part of the problem here. A fish rots from the head down. Okay? You can't run this caravan park safely because you've got a whole bunch of criminals that smile at you and act nice, and behind your back they're committing criminal acts against a child. Psychosexual abuse. And anyone that sticks up for the child or gets involved or anything, even by accident, like I have, gets targeted by these individuals, by this group of people who lie for each other. They just outright lie. Like I said, there's been times where I've just been standing, just not doing anything, just standing, and being yelled at that I'm saying things or approaching or whatever, and had the police called on me, been videoed, standing, doing nothing, just standing there. And then the court just puts in full orders because they've got all this supposed evidence of things I've not done. Just standing there. Is there a problem with me standing there? And we know that there is a problem with me standing there because that is child abuse, standing somewhere on my own where I pay to be. Where I pay to be. Just standing. But these people are comfortable enough to come near me. So all the orders are under fake names that were given to me anyway, that were attempted to be served upon me. The threat of domestic trafficking on behalf of child abusers is how low this law thing is right now. They just pull the child abuse any time they want. And I hadn't said anything about the grooming until after the car tires were stabbed. I only said it's the police and the department. But after I said that, it's free game. Because you've destroyed the only way I can get around. So Victoria Police, that's the 3rd time. No, actually there's another time. You domestic trafficked me from the Grand Hyatt to Royal Melbourne Hospital to be forced medical procedured there for 6 weeks. There's a fourth domestic trafficking. Actually, that's the third absolute domestic trafficking that you've done. They didn't name themselves either. Nobody's going to answer those questions, are they? Nobody's going to give me the freedom of information because they know they're criminal acts. They're federal Commonwealth criminal acts. This time from last night is a threat to domestic trafficking. So that if they touch me and these people set it up that they come and, domestic traffic me, that'll be the fourth time. So that's 4 crimes against me. That's $250,000 per time. So that's $750,000, Victoria Police, for those first 3 times. Because you put that under my name when it was under false details, so you committed, you crossed my copyright. And it's a direct infringement. You don't get a choice on that. Because those details are protected by the United States of America, as well as protected under the law in the Kingdom of Australia, the Commonwealth of Australia, in Australia itself. So, yeah. And I can't compromise because I already set that fee in 2021. In June of 2021 to be exact. So any infringements after that, you are liable for. Whether you use the information or not, you spread it with other parties, like Victoria Institute of Teaching, for example. So, and the Magistrates Court and whatever else. I don't have to comply with you with false information. And I'm not complying with you domestic trafficking me. And I'm not complying with you threatening me to domestic traffic me under false details. I can't believe that. I can't believe the Magistrates Court is allowing child abuse and psychosexual abuse. I just can't believe it. I didn't think it went to this extent. And I'm sorely disappointed, Sale Magistrate. Really, really disappointed. Not for me. I'm disappointed that this is the reason so many people are browbeaten down at Rosedale Caravan Park. They are silent. The people don't want to talk to other people. They just can't come out of their little cabins and things to talk to other people, because this is what the child abusers and the drug dealers do. There's quite a number of them. They've all been named, and you're here threatening to domestic traffic me. It's hilarious in one way, isn't it? So just to let you know, I've been off and on vomiting because of the psychosexual abuse being done by these various people. In particular, 2 people who just got an order by perjury, of course. because they don't know my name and they don't know my birth date. Victoria Police threatening to commit domestic trafficking once again. Do you know Reese Smith apologised in an email for domestic trafficking me and harming me? And I still have to, sort it out because they've put it under the wrong name. I don't have to turn up at the court because my name's not mentioned. But they threatened me that if I don't go, they'll have to detain me, which is bullshit because it's not under my name. So if I go to the court, it's not under my name. There's nothing they can do. There's nothing much I can do. Because there's no joinder when there's no name there. And you know that. I'm not giving my consent for the courts to put my name through the mud again. And they've been doing that for a long time as well. Supreme Court did that. Lied about what I said in the courtroom. And that's for the Supreme Court of Appeal, if I get there. And instead, I'm made to panic all night because Victoria Police are participating in psychosexual abuse and systems abuse because I can't use internet to be in the courtroom. They wouldn't let me use the phone. I can't use the internet and I can't get there because the very people in that order that I asked for stabbed all the tyres on my sedan and I can't get it repaired. I'm on a disability insurance allowance thing, whatever. So I can't pay for that. So I get to walk into town now because Rich at the Rosedale neighbourhood house said, "Oh, that's not likely to do that. Thanks for gaslighting me, Rosedale neighbourhood house, Rich. You're such a great voluntary guy, aren't you?" I feel so fucking welcomed. So that's all I'm going to say right at the moment. There's a few other things going on, but if Victoria Police, if they didn't yell over me and talk over me and let Kerry talk over me and give away my stuff and all this sort of shit right at the beginning, this would have been solved far easier. Because if the court had have given me an order about this Richard Burke fucking child abusing bastard, psychosexual abusing a child, a young boy, fucking disgusting. And then he appeals to Kerry Logan, who's also involved. Now, I've told the Victoria Police that. You can go and seek defamation if you like. But the reason these people got to where they've gotten with the conversation is because Kerry Logan was involved. And they misinterpreted what was said to this individual. They've not just misinterpreted, they've deliberately lied, made stuff up, added to what was said. I would like to hear the recording in the Supreme Court courtroom. I would like all of those cases heard in the Supreme Court so that there's no doubt as to the perjury and the child's psychosexual abuse. Because every one of those individuals has talked about the castration of a preteen boy Every single one of them has fantasized a threat to castrate a preteen little boy, who isn't little, by the way. So that's all I can get close enough to say. Isn't it? Because it's kind of court material. So that can't be covered. You're interrupting my work, Victoria Police. You didn't protect me while I'm doing my case for the High Court, or the Supreme Court for that matter. So now I've got to, your magistrate's court wouldn't let me go on the phone into the hearing on 3 separate occasions for my protection. You're busy protecting child sexual abusers and druggies who are also committing psychosexual abuse. And I'm not going to hide that. It's my duty. It's my duty to highlight what's really going on in this Rosedale town, and the actual abuse of people that our own people are doing. Like a retired Anglican priest, when he was a priest still, was helping by giving food packages to people in Sale area. And these people asked for extra items, and he said, look, I'm really sorry, we only give 1 to each family each week or each day or whatever. And so they went out and stabbed all of his car tires. And nobody jumped on them and took them in or did anything about it. And that would have cost him about $1,200 maybe, depending how much it is to do it all. More, maybe more. So once these people damaged my sedan tires, they knew I was going to stay there, and that I wasn't going to be able to move it. And suddenly realised, oh shit, we shouldn't have done that. And now we've got to go to court and get the court to actually protect us instead of damaging all of our things constantly. That's why they went into the court. They weren't scared. I'm fucking terrified, and I'm trying to get assistance, and the court won't let me, or didn't let me, go on the phone into the hearings and things. So I'm the one who needed protection, and I'm the one the police just threatened to domestic traffic me under false details, yet again. 4th time lucky, Victoria Police, huh? I'm disgusted. I'm totally disgusted. I don't know what else to really fucking talk about. And it's so demoralised. These people are so demoralised. And like, the thing is, I've told them what's going on. I interrupted their pattern on the 10th of April. And they've been sore about it ever since. And the problem is, they've got people vouching for them, so they're just going to continue. They haven't stopped, so they're not going to stop now. That's what psychosexual abuse is like. It's a hard one. People don't want to hear this stuff. The people in the town, they know. It's just that caravan park at the end outside the town that sort of nobody goes to, because it's so fucking horrible and full of child abuse and, you know, psychosexual abuse and drugs. And that, like, the elders who live in the caravan park are in fear for their well-being if they talk to anybody. Literally. All of the people involved won't look at me, won't talk to me, nothing. But when the owner comes around, oh, they're nice and sweet and everything else. That's what they're like. They just turn up at the court and lie their little backsides off. It's fascinating. So I'm trying to bring it to the Supreme Court, I think. It's got to go either county or Supreme. I didn't even know you could appeal the minor decisions, and apparently, yeah, you can. I could have appealed 2 months ago. But the registrars didn't tell me that. Now they tell me 2 months later. Oh my God. Systems abuse. They're so busy protecting criminals, they forget about the people who need the actual protection. So that's Victoria Police now. And I've been saying the peacekeepers and all of this, yeah, and they do have to go by rules and whatever. Yeah, they do, yes. I didn't realise they had no discernment whatsoever. And so they just fucking, oh my God, like, you're not trusted, Victoria Police. And there's a damn good reason you're not trusted, is because look at what you've done. And the courts, there's a reason people don't like the courts intervening and stuff. And I trust the courts, I like the courts, but you've been completely abused by these drug people for a really long time. I'm so disappointed in the court, the magistrate's court. Really disappointed in you. Because how many times I had to phone to try and get help, to just go to the case, to get a protection order. Fucking hell. How hard can it be to assist me?